What's going on, Hustle fam? Your friend Ryan here. Your friend Ryan Famwina is here. Your host. To my right, Wilmer Zavala. How you doing?
What up? I'm doing good.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And to my left, Michael Lucero. I don't know his other name. He has like several aliases because I think people are out there looking for him. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing blessed.
You're doing blessed.
Yes.
How is what does doing blessed mean?
It means I'm living my best life.
Living my best life. All right, man. I love it. So our podcast here, Sustained by Hustle, is brought to you by Nightmare Muscle. We talk all things business, our personal, individual lives as well, and just us as a whole team, as a family here. Anything that's going on in the powerlifting realm, our niche in it. It's just everything Nightmare Muscle, right? I mean, that's what we're here to rock with today. And every other podcast leading. What number is this? What number of podcasts?
7, I believe, or 8.
7?
Yeah.
So can we get official? I'm just gonna say that this is podcast number 7. I'm a aim low, and then next time's a podcast number 9.
That's right.
All right, man. So you guys, we're new to this. And we gotta prime ourselves, so we can't just come off the cuff every time. We're gonna get good at this. I can just drop topics on these guys. But I hit the guys up, I hit the fellas up, and I asked them what the topic is for today. And our topics for today is the juggling of owning a business and relationships. That is the first topic that I have for us to chat about here during our podcast. And can it be done and both be thriving? What do you guys think? Who's jumping in first? It's not me.
I think you should jump.
No. I'm not jumping in first.
You're the married one.
Nah.
Yeah, he has the most complicated.
Hey, y'all have to relate. I'm not complicated.
Yeah.
Because you're married.
That's not complicated.
That makes it more complicated than that.
It actually doesn't, because there's no way out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we wanted to, we could just up and go.
But it's not just. So I didn't mean like just a romantic relationship.
All relationships.
But I don't want to go first. I always go first. People are like, Ryan always talks.
Who said that?
Everybody.
You're right, they do.
Everybody. I know. You see me at meets.
That's true.
Always talking.
All right, Will Skills, take
What's
it.
up?
So how do we balance
Relationship
with business?
Yeah.
The juggling of owning a business and relationships.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I guess I could talk on my relationship with my son, because that's kind of like the biggest one I have. And it's hard because there's always a sacrifice. So I don't know if it's much of a balance. It's like you sacrifice one thing for the other because they both require time.
It's like ketchup for you,
grow.
I think.
Ketchup?
Yeah.
So then how do you do it? Like, give people, like, because I know people struggle with this. There are people out there that may either want to open a business, but say, I can't because my marriage will struggle or my relationship with my kids will struggle. But it's like, all right, but then it's probably still struggling, even if you don't have that. So
yeah,
you have a great relationship with your son, and I would argue that you do have a successful business where you're at right now. So how are you? I'm gonna just say, how are you able to do that?
Yeah, I think it actually, to go back to where you were saying that most people will think it'll hinder or like hurt the relationship. I think it actually helped because I'm able to go through the process, and Miguel, which is my son, he's able to see what's going on, and he's kind of getting like influenced by it. So in a way, it's actually helping our relationship because we're able to do stuff together. We're able to do stuff as a family, even though it's still business, but it's kind of like an activity we do together at the same time. And he looks forward to it. Like when we go to events and he tags along, he has a good time usually.
But so your initial answer though in the beginning, before I kind of gave you a little more to think about, was they're both going to suffer. But then now you're saying that they actually.
That's right, because I actually think I have the answer to why that is, why people do struggle, and why it's kind of different.
Let's let Will So like now that I've given you a little more to it, maybe it was just a little vague at first, but now you're saying that it's like enriching the relationship, between you and your business. Like I think it's people's perspective, but again, Will.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So how was your perspective in the beginning then?
Yeah, in the beginning it was a lot of sacrifice because he had things he was doing that I wouldn't like. Sometimes I will have to sacrifice. Like, do I go to that, or do I go work, or go work on whatever the business needs? And that's where it felt like a sacrifice. But that was only the initial part of it, and now I'm able to have more freedom with my time. So like, if there is something going on, like an event with my son, I could take some time off and go there. Uh, so that's why the response was a little different because I was looking at it from like the beginning to now. In the beginning, it was a pretty big sacrifice, but it actually ended up paying off now and hopefully into the future too, because it does give us something to work together on.
Absolutely,
it's kind of like a project.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. I think that's why it's so different. In the beginning, when we had jobs, there's sacrifices left and right because you're working a full-time job. Then you're using whatever spare time you had to work on the business as well as try to take care of all these relationships. And now that Will and I don't have a day job like that and we schedule our own self, we have the freedom to choose to do X, Y, Z with these people.
Speak from the point of view of having the job.
I think so. When you have a job in the very beginning,
is it like, are you able to, have both? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, can you the juggling and owning a business? How was that?
I think that's the if you're someone that has relationships like that, whether it is friendships, kids, or a spouse or a partner, that very beginning stage where you have a job and that's going to be the most stressful. Because especially if you're like came from us, like we didn't have money, we didn't have backing. It's like we literally were taking our paycheck and doing this. Because you have to sacrifice time with those people, or you have to sacrifice doing things for them, or you can't. Any free time you have, it literally is trying to push your business in some way or form. And then doing it for so long can put another stressor on it. So I think in the beginning, if you and your relationships can get past that initial like bump, how long it is, it's 6 months, a year. Or it's like us, it took us 6 years to finally kind of get to this point. I think you guys will be better on the other side of it. But it for sure will put stressors on a bunch of things. My girlfriend almost left me in the beginning because I was working so much. And it was like, she was mad that I was working for something that didn't create revenue or do anything. It just took my money. It was like another girlfriend. And I think that's like what upset her. Because like, no one's going to believe in your dreams as much as you. And
nor should they.
That's true. No one should ever believe in what you want to do more than them. But trying to convince them that you're doing the right thing, and although you're not seeing the fruits of your labor today, that doesn't mean that the dividends are not going to pay off in however much time it is. So if you can get past that little speed bump, however long it is for you in your relationships, you'll be on the better side of things. Bernie Mac said it right, or the best. Money. I think money and power brings you the girls you want. Struggles bring you the girl you need. And that's where you figure it all out.
I love Bernie Mac. R.I.P. Bernie Mac. So then, my secondary part to that is, so can it be done and can both be thriving?
Yeah.
To both? I think, so I don't want to say thriving, because I think something's going to hurt no matter what. I think you can be moving forward. I don't want to say the word thriving, because at least for me, like for a little bit, like things were rocky. Both on the business, we weren't making money, and I was making the least amount of money I was ever making. And then my girlfriend was, she was like borderline ready to leave me. And then it wasn't until I just started trying to do more and pick up the slack, although it did make me work harder and I didn't see her as much. The fact that I wasn't being a fucking bum, I think that helped out and But I think that either way you look at it, both can move forward, but I don't think thriving would be the word I'd use.
At all? Ever?
No, I think it's one or the other. But then I also, with that being said, I think it depends on you as a person, your aspirations. Because, like, sometimes, like, if you know what enough is for you, then you can find that balance. I think, at least for me personally, for my own personal, I want more. Always want more. Um, I want like globally more.
So that's a personal problem.
That's what I'm saying. So I think that might be why I have that experience, because although I appreciate her and everything she's done for me, and I want us to work and I want to do more, I recognize that my want to do more is just as high as my want to be with her. And for me to give up one or the other would hurt me drastically. So I don't think, no matter what, if I paid more attention to the business, she's gonna hurt. And if I pay more attention to her, the business is gonna hurt. Although we both could be moving forward and growing together and doing better, and the relationship gets stronger, I think when you're on that type of like wavelength and when that's what your ultimate goal is, something's gonna hurt until you can get the people to in those positions to help you with areas.
Can they both be thriving? For you?
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Like, obviously, I'm still in the process of everything. So, as of right now, like things are. It looks like things are going well with my relationship with my son, and like being able to work on the business too. They're both kind of growing together. But I can speak on like what I witnessed from my clients, who most of them have their own business, and they have their families, and they seem to be doing well and they're happy. So I'm sure that's something to look forward to.
For sure.
So it can be done. It just, like Mike was saying, like it just depends on how big your drive is and like where you're trying to accomplish. Because they're not like trillionaires. They're pretty successful, but I think they had a moment when they were content. Like they're like, okay,
Well, they found they're enough.
They sold two of them sold their businesses, so now they retired off of it. So it wasn't like they were gonna keep going until they died, but they found where they felt they had done enough.
What say you?
What say I? For me, being in the longest relationship in this room, and then now married, and then also, being in the business aspect, and then still having a job. There's stages to everything, right? I do believe that everything can be thriving, but I haven't yet experienced that. I think I'm in a striving, I was in survival mode for a very long time.
Surviving now.
Surviving now. There's like some strive. Like there's the transitioning point of that, and that shit comes with my maturity and my ability to be able to pivot and to follow through on my word. So with my relationship with Maria, it did suffer for a very long time because of just the type of person that I was. And it also suffered here in the business, even with my relationship with Mike, just because of the type of person that I was. And it wasn't until I finally got my head out of my ass and got into this thing called personal development, and really started to take a look at who I was and my behaviors and my habits. That's when things started to change for me, and it only had to do with me. It had nothing to do with anybody else. And then having, acquiring and attracting another business partner, now Wilmer, these are relationships, and I care about them all, and I'm never satisfied with something just staying. And nothing in life is stagnant. You're either progressing or regressing, so that means you're either living or you're dying. And I always want everything to be progressing, and that can be to a fault, but fuck that. So I'm on the side of always trying to push those around me, and it starts with me. So my wife and I now, once my girlfriend, we struggle, man, because of just how I was. But I put it on my post today, which was our wedding. But in the caption, if you read down, her love for me, like literally, propelled me into becoming the person that I am supposed to be, and the sustaining of that is just it's unparalleled to anything I've ever experienced, and I am able to stand on that as a very solid foundation, and I feel I can do anything because of her love for me and what I dragged that woman through in the concrete. Not from the country, so I didn't drag her through the mud. I dragged that woman through the concrete and pavement.
The gravel.
You know what I'm saying? And even Mike, I dragged his ass through the parking lots and the pavement too as well. And Wilmer got a whiff of that too as well. But, he was just, on the other side of it. So he's like, oh,
he was the one filming it.
It's like, goddamn, like, I didn't know Ryan was like this. But, they all saw something in me that I had not seen yet. And, that's just a testament to the type of people that I was attracting, but I just wasn't that person yet. So this long-winded, kind of answer that I have, I truly do believe that it all can be thriving. It just takes time. And you just have to believe in what you're doing. You cannot do what we do and not believe in it full-heartedly. You're going to have nights where you're like, fuck this shit, bro. And then you fall asleep to that and you wake up like, man, fuck that. I can't quit now. I can't quit now. Like, who are you letting down? Like, even like, just all of those, like, you truly wholeheartedly have to believe in what you're doing and the purpose of it and why you're doing it and why you're showing up. And at some point, you have to be like, man, fuck me. It's not about me. It's about us. It's not about I and what I want. It's about what we all need and what will all get us to where we want to be. Because at the end of the day, man, what is success if you don't have the people that you started with up there with you? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So for me, you just have to have that hustle about you. You have to have that grind, that work ethic. You have to be building yourself, to such a point to where your heart has the capability of like sustaining so much pain that right before it bursts, you fall asleep. Like it's like that. It's like that for me. It's like, like almost where I'm choking and then I pass out and then I wake up and I was like, oh shit, was that a dream? It's like, no, it's a nightmare. All right, let's go. Let's get back to it, baby. Let's get back to it because I like that aggressive stuff. So it can be done, but this like Mike said, and this is stuck with me. It's like you will not leave this life unscathed. So why are you trying to tippy-toe through this thing? Why are you trying to tippy-toe through it? Why are you trying to hide? Get out there, get in front of people that and get in front, but get around people that are going to challenge you. These guys that I'm with, they challenge me, whether it be directly or indirectly, whether it be aggressively or sometimes passively. I get challenged, or I feel their energy, and it's challenging me. I feel my wife's energy, and it's challenging me. So as a man, I'm like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, bro? Because by definition, a man is responsible. And it's time for you to step up and be responsible and take the fucking reins of this thing and lead it. So for me, you're speaking to someone that, my personal mission statement in life is the fact that I am a driven and demanding leader that wants to empower and inspire those who seek more for themselves, and I lead with that every single day. And so therefore, it's a no-brainer. It can be done, and I want to see it done in my own way, in my own lane, in my own life. And I want these guys, these gentlemen that I'm sitting next to experience it too. And I won't rest until that happens. I won't rest until Mike gets that whatever he wants, and then Fabi says at some point, in another decade, like, all right, y'all doing something. Same thing with Maria. She still feels like this is the Mickey Mouse Club, but it's all good. Mm-hmm. We show up to Disneyland every single day and we are having fun. So
California Adventures.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta take it with a grain of salt. Like, dude, nobody's gonna believe in what you're doing more than you, and they should not. Nobody's gonna invest in it more than you, and they should not. Nobody's gonna talk to you the way that you're like, oh, they're gonna pump you up. No, that has to become something that you cultivate from within yourself. So then you don't have to look for an external validation. The validation comes from within.
I think that's super important too, because especially when you start this journey, the people close to you are not going to support you the way you think they are.
Fuck no.
Like you need to be motivated inwardly, like 150%.
Or they are for the beginning stage.
Yes.
But then it's a year, and you done spent $5,000 on some equipment, or it's been 90 weeks, and you just spent $15,000, on some stuff, and it still don't look like it's showing, any kind of promise.
Prosperity, yeah.
But it's like, dude, you don't know what can come from this if you keep going. They said it's 100% chance you fail if you quit. I'm not willing to do that. And if you guys are on here listening to us, I'm pretty sure you're not willing to do that. And you come here to listen to us for some type of, little motivation or some type of inspiration.
A little nugget.
Empowerment. We're telling you from three guys sitting here inside of a warehouse on a fold-away table on a rocking rocket chair right now that it's not going to always be this way. And we will see this thing through. And it's only a matter of time before the levee breaks. You cannot continue to show up day in and day out, rep after motherfucking rep, and it don't break through. You can't. It's the law. I don't know what law it is. I'm gonna get that law, but it's the law of compensation, I think, or something like that, where it's like you just the rep, you just keep going, and it's just the amounts of reps that you put in, boom, you're there. Like,
the compound effect?
I think it's something like that.
The law
there's
of attraction.
That's right.
I'm just kidding.
We're going to have some laws next time in line. What we're saying. Because we ain't blowing smoke, man. Like, this is stuff that I have studied. I've kind of chilled off of that for a minute because I need to be more focused on brand-specific information at my thinking spot,
Disposal.
desk, at the house, at any point in time.
I'll even add this too. Like, even when you make some of these major milestones, I think like Will and I have a pretty big one because we work for ourselves here now. People are still going to tell you that it's not enough. Like my girlfriend the other day, like, I've been working for myself for well over a year now, and the other day she told me to get a job. Like, I don't know at what point people are going to like believe everything, but you don't need anyone's validation, and no matter what comes, there's always people that kind of like they want a safety net. And this one for sure doesn't. This lifestyle does not have a safety net.
But it's the realest thing because the safety net is false. There is no safety
Facts. Net. I'm the more responsible now for everything I do than I've ever been.
Dude, it's literally a false sense of security.
Yeah, because you can get fired anytime. Look, I got fired on a Monday after a holiday because
the layoffs.
That's what I'm saying.
The layoffs or the company's going under. Sorry.
Yeah, bro. They laid me off like during the worst fucking time.
Sorry.
Like, if I didn't have like this shit on the side, bro.
And what was fucked up is they were still charging motherfuckers every month.
I'm just saying.
Sorry, we got to take care of ourselves before you guys. You guys are the lowest part of the pole.
As soon as I got fired, the first thing I did was call the bank. I need you to put a stop charge to this. And I learned that because when I was getting training with you, and they kept charging me.
They don't give a shit.
They don't. You got to go to the bank.
Since we're talking about this shit, like, okay, so I got laid off, right? And I have my side business going on, and then like what? How many months later?
It was basically a year.
Like 6 months later? No.
Oh, when you got laid off?
When I got laid off to the Hawaii trip?
Yeah, 6 or 8.
Something like that. So, and while we were on the Hawaii trip, one of the managers calls me and bans me from the gym that I can't come back. After all that service, like, I was the top trainer there for 6 years, had the most revenue, made them a ton of money.
We got
probably like $150,000 every year, and I was getting paid like $40,000 off of that. And just to get laid off and then get banned, so I can't go back to the gym even as a member.
And with that being said, like, we understand how business works and paying people. So that's not what Wilmer's upset about. He's upset about everything that he's given to this job. And because he wouldn't be, I don't know, their little bitch, that he got banned.
It's the simple fact that they didn't care about what Wilmer did.
They
didn't care.
There's nothing for his loyalty.
And on top of that, they laid him off at the worst possible time pretty much across the world.
Yep.
That we needed some type of income. They wouldn't try to come up with a solution for those that were still there and somewhat loyal to the company, right? So then, all right, you got to go. Maybe it'll work out with unemployment. We all know how that shit show goes here in California. Good luck with that. And then when things are starting to look a little more bright, hey, we want you to come back and come slave for us again.
6 days a week, 8 hours a day.
We'll put you in a higher position, but we still won't pay you what you're worth. And Will turns it down. Nah, I'm good. What? What do you mean you good? Whatever you doing, that little stuff over there, like, you sure that, like, well, it's kind of held me over now. And if anything, I've grown from this situation. So, yeah, I'm good. Let it be known that 24 Hour got bought out by companies that buy failing businesses. So, yeah, your business is failing. Let me know if you want some help on that. To only get questioned about training and taking clientele from 24 Hour.
Which never happened.
Motherfucker, you ain't never had no clientele, especially within the last 18 months. People are leaving 24 Hours. Nobody's personal training there. They don't have personal training. I'm going to get off this soapbox, because like, we ain't tripping off no 24 Hour. Like, we ain't never tripped off of them. But it's just like, it just goes to show how petty companies are when their bottom dollar, their pockets are being affected. But fuck you if you're an employee here that's been an employee, that's been making us money. If you're hurting, it don't matter. Fuck you. So, long story short, we ain't tripping off 24 Hour. Ain't never making no money like that ever again. The trainers there suck, and everybody knows it, and it's all good. And when we open up our own Nightmare Muscle compound that will have a strength and conditioning training facility a part of it, we'll for sure lay it all down around here in the Bay Area. But until then, 24 Hour, you're still safe. So, with that being said, to answer that question that I have for you guys, stay in the pocket. Don't run. Don't retreat. Run to it. Run to your growth. Whatever that process is, keep it, man. Keep it, or find a process that is a non-negotiable, man. Because I think these guys can abide by to at least some type of process that they've created for themselves, that when shit hits the fan, they revert back to that process that keeps them safe from themselves and from them negative thoughts. Yeah? Huh?
Yeah. Attitude.
I'm not gonna lie, I be the second one to get caught in my feelings. But I got a little room. So if I get in my feelings, it's 3 days max. After the third day, I gotta stop being a little bitch. That's not a lie.
He's been on that shit for like 3 weeks now.
Why are you lying? You a lying sack of shit.
He been on that shit for like 3 weeks.
No, I just
spend the most time with Mike, so I mean,
I don't be my feeling. I just be like upset about things. I got to get out.
Part of your feelings.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. I'm not neglecting what I got to do.
So being in your feelings is neglect first, and then you're upset. So then you're kind of considering somebody else's feelings at that point.
Yes, if I'm neglecting what I have to do, at max 3 days. That's like
that sounds like 3 weeks.
Nah, it's 3 days. Because after that, then shit hits the fan, and I can't afford to hit shit the fan.
Bro, after 1 day, it should be.
Wow, that brings. All right, so that's funny because that brings me to the next topic. Is there such thing as balance then?
Yes, but I think it has to depend on like what you're trying to do.
Like Thanos.
But no, I do think that's like what it matters, because if you find out what enough is for you, the balance is easier to find. If like I want more, like I know that I want more. I be having ideas. Like my brain is going 1,000 miles a minute. Like the other day when we were at a meet, I was just thinking about how they put away equipment, and I was like, you know what we need racks that fit together for going away. And then Ryan and them was like, what the fuck are you thinking about? But this is like my mind. Like I'm always trying to think of solutions for everything, and that is a fault of my own. But
because you can't seem to figure out one for your goddamn self.
So like this is what I'm
with it.
You know, like
fucking,
that's what I think. I think it really depends on the person. If I'm not thinking of things like this and other business things to do or things we can keep doing and how to grow and what the growth of this company looks like, I fucking feel like I'm losing my mind and I feel like my head will explode. So like sometimes I'll just text Will or text a group, or I'll write it down, like my little ideas, which I've been trying to do harder recently, because sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll be like, man, this is a fucking great idea. But
balance.
Yeah, the balance is like me. I think the balance for that is me getting it out and then being able to readdress it at a later date, because otherwise I'll fucking feel like shit's not moving if I don't get to talk about it or get it out, or just sometimes I just need to walk myself through the idea because sometimes it doesn't need to be as grand as I want it to be.
Yeah. Well, for me, I was like Mike too, where I was in the beginning, right? I was like just working my ass off, like from the moment I woke up to until I couldn't be up anymore, and I would just fall asleep eventually, and that burnt me out. So it wasn't until like later I'm like, if I continue like this, like I'm gonna just continue doing shitty work, and my attitude is gonna be shitty. You know, I'll be mad all the time, frustrated. Um, it wasn't until I started using the productivity planner, and I started just 5 main tasks a day. Once I get those done, like just chill the fuck out. And that's helped. That's helped with my balance like tremendously because I'm in a better mood. I actually get more done and I'm more efficient. So it's like I feel like I'm working less, but I'm not. I'm just not overwhelming myself every day because like if you have a business, like there's always shit to do. Like,
Yeah.
Always shit to do. So like if you could limit yourself,
you can find shit to do too.
Yeah,
You gotta find it. It'll present itself.
And I'll commend you on that because like Will got me the planner too. That 5 tasks a day and having the most important tasks be, or it doesn't have to be 5, but getting those tasks done does help. And then I've learned what's a bigger task that can't be done in a single day. Like my biggest one I'm working on is emails because I'm trying to plan out our emails for the month and how that works. So I realized that can't be a day task. I have to break that whole email thing down into smaller tasks, which have helped me be more successful and not be behind on things. So instead of trying to do an entire email campaign in a day, we break it down into what the templates of the campaign will be for one day, and then I'm going into content for it the next day, and then the day after that is trying to do and test emails.
I found my balance by waking up early. That's where I found it for me.
5 a.m. tapping.
Now it's closer to 4, and it's just being able to create. I'm still inconsistent with it, you know, but my ultimate plan is to never sleep in again. And I truly enjoy my life. I know these guys, they enjoy their lives, and I want to be up for it. You know, I do fall victim to wanting to just stay in bed or be next to my wife, but it's like, dude, I'm not comfortable where I'm at in life, so I need to be up. And as you get older, you start to realize that like this time isn't coming back, and this day will never have another day like this. So, you know, try to maximize your time. So I started waking up earlier. I started seeing the gaps in my life by my reflection time, and I was able to create some balance by just being up earlier, getting things done early, and then having, you know, that grace period to where I can pivot either doing business or, you know, my non-negotiable process is my reflection time, my time with my wife, fitness, and then these guys. So if I have all those non-negotiables, I got to figure out when these are prioritized. And then within that is the balance. And I have to get up early to make sure that I get the fitness thing done, or I'm planning at some point in the day to do it, and it's going to get done. It's not if, but it when. And it doesn't matter. It has to get done. So, and having the discipline to do it, man, the discipline has really helped me with balance and being able to take on whatever, you know, is to come, whether these guys present me with, I don't call them problems, I call them possibilities.
Solutions.
Okay, Pitbull. Shit.
So, like, you know, it's the problem is not a problem. It's a possibility, or, you know, it is just presenting, you know, another way to get it done, and then we find the solution within that. And that's all we've done here is just try to create a different mindset that we carry in the brand, and nothing is impossible because we all see things as possibilities, and we go from doing what's probable to doing the impractical, then the impossible. So we just continue to show up and just chip away. And then within that is what we would consider balance. But, you know, that's, again, it's all subjective to the person. Because anybody living, if you kind of come live our lives of where we're at right now, you'd be like, this is so chaotic or this is so unbalanced. I was like, no,
Your capacity grows. That's really what it is.
Yeah, I call it. We turn your fucking warm up. You turn your workout into a fucking warm up. Your 120% is now our 80%. Like are just capable of doing so much more, in that sort of period of time, to where you just got to continue to expose yourself to it.
Yep.
Expose yourself. Expose. That's why environment is so crucial to people's growth and to whatever you want to try to consider to balance your life out. Well, you got to go far in one direction in order to know that, I got to scale this back a little bit. But I'm not necessarily worried about that kind of stuff. What I'm worried about is us creating something that will outlast me, that can, fuel the generation that's next. Miguel's son, my niece, anybody that Mike knows that is young.
I might just end up adopting.
Or, that any of his adopted children, he's going to adopt a whole school.
That's right.
Of wrestlers.
Yes.
Kaylani, TJ, all of those little kids, that we have influence over. Those are the ones that I'm concerned with and fuck my balance right now. I'm happy. I'm not, whatever that means, I'm joyful. I wake up in a very negative way initially, and then I quickly switch to, I'm alive, fuck yeah, let's go. And I got two of the best business partners you can ask for. These guys can outwork anybody that I feel, and have the grit and grind of shit.
It's okay.
They're coining their own terms of Mike and Will. The grit and grind of Mike and Will.
That's right.
It's going to be written in the book one day. So, that's that. I think that's the podcast right there, man.
Let me say thanks to our sponsors.
Okay. But I think before we go to the sponsor thing, a thing that I think has really, I wanted to get your guys' opinion, and I want to also ask, you guys in the viewers,
the listeners. That's all right. I put it on YouTube, so
one day,
technically there's viewers.
The audience. We y'all don't want to see what we got going on in here right now. But when we do get the visuals, y'all gonna be like, dang, okay. But why is upholding your integrity in business and in life important, and an important quality? Because I think that is a huge testament to why we're still here, is our integrity. But why do you think it's so important?
I'll speak because I think I deal with most problems, and I think that most people, when they're upset with us, that's like what I deal with. I think integrity is super important because at the end of the day, when you fuck something up, and we are not new to fuck ups, especially myself. I probably fucked the most. We are willing to go above and beyond to fix it, as well as to go above and beyond to create the initial experience for you. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And although I can be very personal, try to be very political. I try not to delve deep into giving direct answers a lot. At the end of the day, I don't, and none of us here do anything to harm other people. Everything we do is with a sense of actually trying to help and bring value to the community. And I think that's why we've managed to be here so long. Because although we don't have we don't have the biggest brand awareness or whatever it is, at the end of the day, people, if you have a bad thing to say about us, it has nothing to do with our integrity as a whole, as individuals, or personal. Yeah, it's usually because we fucked up somewhere that you just can't forgive, and I think each of us are a-okay with that. We're sorry if you have that experience with any of us, or with that experience with the brand. But at the end of the day, like, we're gonna do everything in our power to do what's right by you and by our community.
Well,
I just think it's like a powerful trait to have. Like if you are capable of doing what is right even when no one's watching, like then you'll be able to get pretty far. It's like training. I think we can all use training as an analogy, but like if you train right and you're doing the reps properly, you're not cutting corners, you're not cheating, you're gonna get strong. I think it's the same with integrity. Like if you're doing what's right even when no one's watching, like you're just gonna build a really good character that's able to be proud of yourself and be able to go far with it. Because I feel like the way you feel about yourself is kind of portrayed onto others and your business too and your brand.
Will said that beautifully, as did Mike. So I have nothing to add to that. That's why we're still here, and that's why we're all still in business, and we all still care for one another, because we all have integrity and we uphold it to the highest degree around here. And that's what we expect from other people that deal with us. But we understand too that it's not always the case.
Shit happens.
And it is what it is. So with that being said, man, before we give it over to Mike, appreciate you, Wilmer Zavala, say it with your chest, being on the podcast here. Mike Lucero, appreciate you, bruh. All you guys out there that are listening, that share this podcast with anybody in your circle, man, we appreciate you more than we can express through words. Sometimes words, or most of the time words get in the way, but you know we doing this off the cuff because we love it, and we love y'all, and we're going to keep doing this till that casket drop, baby. So that being said, Mike, take it away.
2 things. First thing, when you hear this tomorrow, if you make it this far, go buy or pre-order your Now Muscle Cancer Awareness Tea. That's going to drop tomorrow. It's a pre-order for 2 weeks only. Ryan's going to do a video on what we're doing it about because we don't have enough time in this podcast. But if you hear that, do that. And thank you to this podcast for being sponsored by Nightmare Muscle. That's nightmaremuscle.com, built by heart, sustained by hustle. And don't forget to use code Built by Heart at checkout to save some money.
Is Breaking PRs a sponsor now? Is they sponsoring with coffee?
Yeah, but I don't think he hasn't got us a discount code yet, so okay. I'm sorry, y'all. But BreakingPRs.com is also our other sponsor. They have delicious coffee, gourmet donut shop, Latin American brand, and French roast. He has 3 flavors going on right now in a variety of different grinds: coarse, fine, and espresso. You know, get that kick in the morning. Check them out. BreakingPRs.com.